make up for it in the back end.
Thank you. Where's Anne?
She's out in the hallway.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2026 Congregation Shalom annual meeting. I hope on the way in all of you had a chance to look at the tables outside, which showed all the activities, Shabbat services, programs that we've done during this last year. How many tables did it take? 6, I think? 8? It's a lot of tables. It's really, if you ever wonder what we're doing, it's there. Thanks for taking the time in this lovely summer evening to come out. We are in our 75th year and going strong, thankfully. And we're going to start with an invocation by Rabbi Abby.
Good evening. Not Shabbat Shalom. I would also like to echo Larry's thank you to everyone who's here tonight, whether you are part of the staff or the clergy or the board or the congregation, whether you're here in person or you're online. You are saying by being here this evening that this community matters to you. You are affirming your connection and your commitment to Congregation Shalom. And you are the heart of Shalom, not the building, not the prayers and the programs that take place here, but each one of you with the unique talents and resources and perspectives that you bring and the way that you support and strengthen each other so that we become a sacred community. I'd like to offer a blessing with which to formally open our gathering. Ribono shel olam, creator and sustainer of the universe, please bless the work of this congregation. Help us to build a strong, loving, moral community worthy of your presence, that you may come and dwell among us. Help us always to see ourselves in all of creation and creation in ourselves, and most of all, help us to see ourselves in one another. Help us to support one another in times of joy and sorrow, difficulty and ease, reflection and action. Help us to translate our values into our behavior and to make our actions the afterlives of our words. Help us to be a sacred community. Together we say, Amen. I'd like to also offer a Shehechianu, a celebration for arriving at this moment in time, especially on this 75th anniversary of our congregation. We'll sing Shehechianu and we invite you to join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and who has brought us to this sacred occasion with one another.
Next, we will have approval of the June 2025 annual meeting minutes. Hopefully you've had a chance to look through them, and we'll look for a motion to approve them. And do we have a motion to second them? Jim, thank you. Any questions, comments, discussion on the minutes? If not, all in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes passed. Guess I'm next, so I should put my glasses on. Since beginning my tenure as president of Congregation Shalom last July, there has truly never been a dull moment. Ask anybody who knows me. Together, we've celebrated milestones, embraced change, navigated transitions, and continued building a vibrant community rooted in learning, worship, and connection. Today, Congregation Shalom remains the largest Reform congregation in the state of Wisconsin, with more than 800 family units that represent nearly 2,900 individuals. Even more encouraging, this year we welcomed a net gain of 25 new families, a testament to the strength and vitality of our Kehillah. As we celebrate our 75th anniversary this year, we honor the generations who built this congregation while looking confidently toward its future. Our anniversary weekend, November 6th through 8th, will bring our community together with inspiring speakers, music, celebration, of course food, and programs for every generation. In recognition of our 75th anniversary, we were recognized and honored by the Milwaukee County Historical Society in May in celebration of this milestone. Our commitment to lifelong learning continues to flourish. With 233 students, our Religious and Hebrew School remains the largest Reformed supplemental education program in Wisconsin, serving more than half of the state's Reformed students. Adult learning is equally strong, with 254 members participating in various educational offerings this past year. We have begun our partnership with the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at UWM, which has already brought more than 10 engaging lectures to Congregation Shalom, which have been attended by over 140 people, with a full slate of more opportunities for this next year. Osher was also happy to host their annual luncheon here, which brought over 150 people to Shalom. Education has always been at the heart of Congregation Shalom and is the inspiration behind our most ambitious initiative yet, the Seeds of the Future, our comprehensive capital campaign. I hope most of you had a chance to look at the renderings out in P of our foyer showing what the new facility will look like. We are very, very excited. This transformational project will create an inclusive, accessible, and flexible education and community center that will serve every generation with programming for all ages. Thanks to the extraordinary generosity of our donors, we've already reached 80% of our fundraising goal in just 9 months, and we look forward to breaking ground in the next coming year. This year also brought important organizational progress. Our board completed a comprehensive revision of Congregation Shalom's bylaws, modernizing our governance while preserving transparency, accountability, and the voice of our congregation. Some of the more details are in the June shofar. My sincere thanks go to everyone who worked and devoted countless hours to this important work. We also welcome Megan Guterman as our cantorial soloist and music director. Her talent, creativity, and warmth have already enriched our worship and community life. Thank you. As with every year, change brings both opportunities and transitions. We gratefully thank former Executive Director Ryan Poulet for his service and achievements over the past 3 years, and wish him well in his future endeavors. We are grateful that Andrea Gaddy has so ably stepped into the role of interim administrator with dedication, leadership, energy, and enthusiasm. We've been fortunate to also welcome several outstanding new staff members whose energy strengthens Congregation Shalom each and every day. None of these accomplishments would have been possible without the extraordinary people who make Congregation Shalom what it is. To our executive committee, board of trustees, endowment committee, and countless volunteers, thank you for your leadership, wisdom, and commitment. To Rabbi Noah, Rabbi Abby, Brian Avner, Megan Guterman, and our exceptional staff, thank you for your spiritual guidance, creativity, and unwavering dedication to our congregation. I want to especially recognize Laurel Rose, who's retiring after 12 years of outstanding service as our bookkeeper. We are deeply grateful for her commitment and wish her every happiness in her retirement. Thank you again to everyone who has supported and worked so energetically on the Seeds of the Future campaign. And finally, our deepest thanks go to every member of this congregation who gives their time, talents, and heart to Congregation Shalom. Whether through worship, learning, volunteering, or simply showing up for one another, you are what makes our Kehillah thrive. The past year has been one of remarkable progress. As we celebrate 75 years of Congregation Shalom, we do so with gratitude for our past, pride in our present, and confidence in our future. I look forward to all that we will accomplish together in the year ahead. Thank you. Next, Stanton Abramson will give the Treasurer's Annual Report.
Good evening. I'm Stanton Abramson, our congregation's treasurer. It has been a true pleasure to serve alongside Larry, immediate past President Steve Wallace, and the rest of the Executive Committee and Board of Trustees during my inaugural year as treasurer. I remain deeply grateful to my predecessor, Scott Franklin, who continues to serve as a mentor and irreplaceable repository of Shalom's institutional memory. Thank you, Scott, for taking my calls and texts. I grew up in a Reformed synagogue in Raleigh, North Carolina, much like Shalom. My dad and grandmother served in lay leadership, and I attribute my path to communal service to them. As the torch of the treasurer passed to a new generation this year, it is a blessing to honor the generations of lay leadership that preceded us, dating back to 1951. Tonight, I'd like to briefly share a few highlights of the fiscal year ending next week, as well as pertinent information for the upcoming fiscal year, which begins July 1. This past year, Congregation Shalom hired Numbers for Nonprofits, a Madison-based accounting firm, to prepare our monthly statements for the Board of Trustees. Numbers for Nonprofits also provides essential support to our bookkeeping team, including reconciling donations to endowments, named funds, and the capital campaign. Drawing from a wide array of nonprofit clients, Numbers for Nonprofits shares industry best practices on topics such as secure bill pay platforms, cash management, and expense tracking. This is already helping us to modernize our payment methods. Both our professional staff and lay leadership are incredibly appreciative of this ongoing relationship. Last year, Scott spoke about our building security improvements. I am very pleased to share that we received the grant reimbursement payment from the state of Wisconsin for security hardening projects to our building undertaken in recent years. Upon further examination of our security needs, Shalom engaged the Wisconsin Jewish Security Network, a freestanding agency dedicated to supporting security oversight for the greater Wisconsin Jewish community. They provide our on-site guard staffing and training. The security network is fully integrated with local, state, and national law enforcement, offering us the highest level of threat detection and mitigation. It is vitally important to the board that all our members and visitors can worship and learn in a safe environment. Our guards are here to protect us in our second home. The security network also connects us to the nonprofit Security Grant Program administered by FEMA and helps congregations like ours apply for federal grants to offset our considerable security expenses. We are very well served by the security network, and they are a blessing to our community. I would like to thank Ari Friedman and Josh Martinson for conducting a security training exercise with the board last fall. Regarding the capital campaign, this year brought increased donation activity as the campaign begins to ramp. We have built a reliable closed-loop mechanism to receive cash gifts, stock transfers, and wire payments, holding the funds in a segregated capital campaign account at Baird. This transparent system provides due diligence and appropriate checks on this multi-million-dollar effort. Our funds at Baird are earning competitive interest in Treasury securities as we await the start of construction next year. I would especially like to thank Laurel Rose, Camilla Peck-Edelman, and Georgina Pink for developing this process. I applaud their commitment to the campaign and the vital donor relationships they cultivate and nurture. Shifting to the new fiscal year budget, our VP of Finance, David Arnstein, along with insight from myself, Larry, and our accounting partners, critically reviewed all areas of income and expense to develop a revenue and spending plan that meets our needs. For the current fiscal year to date, through May 31, we have attained 98% of budgeted annual commit revenue and 90% of security fee income. This was our second year where we instituted a security fee line item on the annual commitment statements. We adjusted the methodology for the 25-26 budget cycle and came closer to budget. Some sources of revenue have been lower than budgeted. Fundraising for operational needs did not reach budget, in part because of a shift in focus to the capital campaign. We continue to look for opportunities to reduce our reliance on annual commit dollars by identifying additional sources of unrestricted donations. For the current 25-26 budget year, we applied a modest 3% increase to the annual commit schedule and reworked the security fee to apply it more equitably across membership categories. Rather than a flat fee per family unit, the security fee was 5% of the applicable commit amount, effectively lowering the cost to a significant portion of our membership. This fee is intended to help cover most, but not all, of our security costs. For the new fiscal year, we have once again applied a 3% increase to the annual commitment with a 5% increase to the security fee. The board approved this move in May. The letter that went out accompanying the new schedule thoughtfully requested members reevaluate their membership category and adjust as needed. A big thank you to all our members who have already paid in full or initiated a monthly payment plan for their dues. Early payment helps stabilize our operating cash position toward the end of the fiscal year. Also new this year, Numbers for Nonprofits has recommended, and the board and Andrea have accepted, a transition to the accrual accounting method, where revenues are reported on the income statement when they are earned. This approach provides a highly accurate picture of long-term profitability and financial health, making it the standard for most businesses. We have worked admirably to control expenses in the current inflationary environment and maintain our core congregational staffing with a team of warm and compassionate individuals. We welcomed proven operational talent on the capital campaign with the addition of Camilla. Overall, current fiscal year payroll and related expenses were reduced from last fiscal year due to staffing optimization. We have acted with fiscal responsibility to rethink our operations by negotiating for a reduction in our QuickBooks subscription, canceling unused phone lines, and even asking our bank for a higher interest rate. They agreed. We are also conducting a comprehensive review of our insurance policies and coverages with our agent. I'd like to thank Andrea for spearheading that effort. Our operational improvement also includes changes to how we receive inbound donations. Payments from Fidelity Charitable Donor Advised Funds and the Jewish Community Foundation Donor Advised Funds are now received electronically next business day. Not only is this faster than U.S. mail, It is also exceptionally safer for both the donor and Shalom. Further, we are working to secure our inbound mail in light of numerous scams targeting the USPS. Unplanned building repairs continue to occur and are addressed as needed. This beautiful Samson sanctuary is in the midst of a considerable HVAC replacement project. Our other HVAC units are all past their useful lives. Even the newest portions of our physical plant are well over 30 years old and require expensive upkeep, regardless of our future capital improvement plans. One expense that unfortunately continues to trend higher is security. Our budget for this year was $100,000, and we have already spent $120,000 through May to maintain the peace and safety of our sanctuary school and building. While above budget, that is well below last year when we spent $157,000. We expect further efficiency around our security spending as we continue our partnership with the Wisconsin Jewish Security Network. While controlling expenses is certainly part of the process, the most important element of our congregation, to echo Larry, is maintaining and serving our membership. We remain the largest and strongest Reform synagogue in the state. While the numbers do fluctuate, we have 806 household units in our congregational family. Attracting new members and retaining our current members is the lifeblood of our congregational life. The staff, clergy, board, and lay members are all involved in various ways to accomplish this task. Another key element of our core mission is providing a sound religious and Hebrew school. Brian Avner leads the largest day school, and I'm going to change up the wording because it's not just the state, it's actually between Chicago and the Twin Cities, which sounds even more impressive. At 230 students, enrollment has also resulted in additional school fees to help offset the costs of running the school. Since school fees only partially cover school operating costs, the overall budget makes up the difference, and any additional school fees reduce the burden from the operating budget. David Arnstein presented and the board approved the 26-27 budget at our May meeting. The board held a thorough discussion about the pros and cons of the spending plan and subsequently approved the budget as presented. We are projecting to bring in approximately $2.34 million of revenue from all sources, including donor funds from earlier years, to offset an expected $2.43 million of planned spending. While this sounds like a deficit budget, we plan to use our annual draw from endowment funds, a responsible 4% typically, and additional investment interest to cover the spending gap. Our goal remains to reduce our deficit to as close to zero as possible. The board is also taking steps to make better use of our named funds that were so thoughtfully established by our forebearers to smooth out our operations. As you can see from the pie chart in your pamphlet, annual commitment revenues continue to be about 70% of our expected inflow. The second pie chart shows our major expense categories. As always, the bulk of our budget is spent on salary, administration, and physical plant expenses. Despite the increase to the baseline annual commit schedule and security fee, we understand that the economy is not faring as best it could at the moment. If any congregant has personal financial concerns, please feel free to discuss your situation confidentially with Andrea. No one should ever be turned away from membership at Congregation Shalom due to lack of funds. If you were to take Shalom's overall cost of serving our congregants and divide this amount by the number of member families, the per family share is approximately $3,000 per family. Well over half of our congregants pay less than this amount. So for those congregants who are able to help out more, please consider making an additional contribution to our operating fund or increase your annual commitment level. Annual commitment information has been both electronically distributed and snail mailed. If you have not yet received your statement, please contact the Temple office. The Temple Board and Executive Committee realize that development must continue to be a priority to reduce our reliance on annual commitment dollars. Shalom can only thrive with the generous support provided by both your annual commitment funding and supplemental donations. We will continue to critically review our programming and events offerings to ensure that we are meeting the mission and evolving needs of our congregation. I also would like to remind congregants that we have many costs that are not so glamorous. Security and an aging physical site are at the top of the list. The temple has a long list of recommended capital repair work, and it is imperative that we replenish our various funds so that we can address the next round of long-term needs. I would like to personally thank all the members of our clergy, professional staff, executive committee, and Board of Trustees for their efforts this past year, and for allowing me to serve as treasurer. And to you, our fellow congregants, all of us on the Board of Trustees and the Executive Committee greatly appreciate your past commitment to and involvement with Congregation Shalom. And we hope that each of you will continue your support of our congregation into the next generation. Thank you so much.
Next, Roger Karp will present the nominating committee's recommendations for continuation and installation of new officers and recognition of those who are completing their terms of service.
If you look on page 11 of your booklet, you will see the slate of officers for this year. The challenge this year was whether the new bylaws would be passed in time to affect the nominating, and indeed they were. So things stayed pretty much the same in many, many ways. And you can see the list of continuing officers and trustees. And virtually all the trustees did indeed stay on. Marta Giggle, Rick Paler, Matt Siegel, they left the board, and we added Jackie Orozco, Louis Palin, and Brent Arnold. And then as our number of past presidents was reduced from 5 to 2, we thanked Steve Meyerson and Ben Marins for their many years of service, and Linda Berlin and Sylvan Liebman will continue. And of course, our 3 lifetime trustees, Aaron Goodstein, Nancy Kennedy Barnett, and Jim Ross, will continue. And so we are very, very pleased with those we are adding and look forward to working with them. And I understand there's a new treasurer. Good luck to him. It's me.
First, I'll open it up to any questions or comments regarding the slate of officers, subsequent to which we will vote to approve the slate that Roger just gave us. Any questions, comments? Last second hands being raised to want to rush up and join the board? Okay. If not, you have on page 11, as Roger just read, the slate of nominees for the various positions, including the Executive Committee, the Board of Trustees, the Endowment Committee, and I would like to take a vote to approve the slate as listed. All in favor, please raise your hands. Any opposed? If not, the slate of nominees is approved. Thank you so much. I think it said I was supposed to extend thanks to people, but Roger, you already listed that, so that's good. But next, what we will do is install the new trustees and officers and ask everybody who is an existing trustee and officer to come up for our annual installation service.
Larry, we got the ark with me? Yep. So I invite you all to rise at this time as we remove the Torah from the ark. So I think most of you are used to the spiel that I give every year, but I enjoy it, so I'm going to do it again. Whenever we are handing the Torah scroll to our young people, they're preparing for their Bar Mitzvah, they almost always express a certain level of concern about carrying the Torah based on its weight. And quite often they'll ask me, is it heavy? And when they ask me that question, is it heavy? I start to think about the generations that have held this Torah scroll all the way back to Sinai. Thinking about those who marched through the wilderness into a promised land, those who built and up that country only to be exiled to Babylon and then back again to the land of promise. Those who experienced being conquered again and again, those who were cast out into the diaspora once again, and those who lived along the Roman trade routes, adapting to the societies in which they lived, experiencing both hope, exaltation, and degradation. Those who moved into Northern Europe and North Africa and beyond, who experienced what it meant to live as minorities in larger cultures. Those who crossed the sea in order to establish and help build up a new land. Those who returned to the state of Israel only to build up that land again. And when I think about what that young person has said to me, is that Torah heavy? My answer is always, yes. But we will help you with it. When you are amongst community, when you're amongst people who are working together to affirm the goodness of the values that have been passed from generation to generation, L'dor v'dor, then this weight is manageable. It is also a privilege. And so I'm going to pass this Torah, and I'm going to invite you to pass the Torah from one to the other, remembering that this is our sacred center. May we all treasure it. It is heavier, but we will help you with it. Yeah, Dan, will you come up here, please? Dan, will you come up? Shmuel? Holy One of blessing, bestow your blessings on these leaders who have been elected to serve our congregation. Instill in them with insight and understanding, perseverance as well as patience. Inspire them to work together in pursuit of our community's greatest aspirations, even as they watch over its daily needs. O God, we are thankful for the dedication and giving spirit that brings these men and women before you, prepared to devote their energies to your service and to the benefit of us all. Grant success to their endeavors and help them to lead us in the pursuit of our sacred mission. And let us now turn to the threefold benediction of our people as we recite the Birkat Kohanim.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chutneka.
May God shine God's light upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom.
May God always smile upon you and bless you with God's choicest of blessings, the blessing of wholeness, the blessing of peace, the blessing of shalom. Let us say,
Amen.
Siman Tov and Mazel
Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Siman tov, Siman tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Siman tov, Siman tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Siman tov. Elanu, Elanu, U'Lahu Yisrael. Elanu, Elanu, U'Lahu Yisrael. Siman tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Siman tov, Siman tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Siman tov, Siman tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Siman tov.
Mazel Tov, Yesher Koach, Chazak ve'amatz, strength and courage in these roles that you are filling on behalf of our people. Thank you so much. We're going to invite you to return to your seats now as we continue with our annual meeting.
Next is our. Oh, okay. Perfect.
Right there, you get to do that.
So as many of you know, Andrea has already been serving Congregation Shalom for many years. And in that time, she's come to know this congregation not only as an organization, but as a living community with its rhythms, its people, its sacred obligations, and its deep sense of purpose. Now, as Andrea assumes this new role, I want to say how excited and grateful I am. This is a significant moment in the life of our congregation, and Andrea helps hold the daily life of Shalom together. The visible and the invisible, what you get to see and what you don't. The practical and the personal, the details that allow sacred community to flourish. Andrea brings thoughtfulness, steadiness, warmth, and a real commitment to Congregation Shalom, and I cannot do what I do without her. I have confidence in her leadership, and I am grateful that she's willing to take on this important role at this important time. In a few moments, I'll be speaking about Shalom's past, about the 70 years that have brought us to this anniversary year, and about the people who built this sacred home. And Andrea is going to help us to look in the other direction. She'll speak about the future, about where we're going, what we're building, and how we can strengthen Congregation Shalom for the generations still to come. So it's my pleasure to invite Andrea to share her remarks, and please welcome her. I think that we are all so fortunate to have her taking on this role. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Rabbi. That's very nice. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm excited to step into the interim administrative director role during such an important time in the congregation's history. Congregation Shalom has long been known for its strength, its warmth, and its dedication to Jewish life, and I am grateful for the opportunity to help support that legacy. One of my primary responsibilities in this interim is to ensure that we maintain and continue to build the behind-the-scenes support that helps our clergy, staff, volunteers, families, and members feel cared for. While infrastructure may not always be the most visible part of congregational life, it is the foundation that allows everything else to thrive. Strong systems, sound stewardship, effective processes, and careful planning create the stability that supports our clergy, staff, volunteers, and members. I am fortunate to work alongside an exceptional team. We have talented, dedicated people in place who care deeply about this congregation and its future. Their professionalism, expertise, and commitment ensure that our daily operations run smoothly and that our members receive the highest level of service and support. On a personal note, they are a great group of people to work with. We are small, but we are mighty. We collaborate, we work hard, and most importantly, we laugh daily together. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the amazing team that I have the pleasure to work with. Rabbi Noah, Rabbi Abby, Megan Guterman, Brian Avner, Maddie Powell, Carrie Balliet, Georgie Pink, Camilla Edelman, Jacob McElroan, Missy Meyer, and a multitude of part-time kitchen staff, and Laurel Rose. Laurel, I wish you much joy and happiness in your retirement. As we move forward, our focus remains clear: to maintain and grow a strong, vibrant community and continue our tradition of excellence. Through the past 75 years, Congregation Shalom has always been more than a building. It is a place where people connect, learn, pray, celebrate, find meaning, and support one another. We will continue to improve, adapt, and meet people where they are at every age and stage of life. We will continue to be careful with our resources entrusted to us so they can support the people and programs that matter most. As we enter the next chapter of Congregation Shalom's story, I am filled with optimism. We have a strong foundation, dedicated leadership, engaged members, and a compelling vision for the future. Together, we can ensure that Congregation Shalom remains a place that feels like home, a place of learning, prayer, friendship, celebration, comfort, and joy. Rooted in tradition, responsive to the present, and inspired by the possibilities ahead. Thank you for your trust, your partnership, and your commitment to our congregation. I look forward to the future of Congregation Shalom. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, and Erev Tov, everyone. This week's Torah portion is Chukat Balak. It is a portion that's filled with wilderness and transition and frustration and leadership, loss, and unexpected blessings. In Chukat, the Israelites continue their long journey. Miriam dies, Aaron dies, the people thirst, Moses struggles, the wilderness remains difficult, even after all the years they've spent walking through it. And then in Balak, something deeply unexpected takes place. Balak, an opponent of the Israelites, sends Balaam, a foreign prophet, to curse the Israelites. He wants Balaam to look out over the people and see weakness and disorder and threat. But when Balaam lifts his eyes and sees Israel encamped tribe by tribe, he cannot curse them. Instead, he blesses them. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. Now those words have become part of the spiritual vocabulary of our people. Traditionally, we say them when we enter the synagogue. Before we ask anything of God, we pause and notice the blessings of having a sacred home. Today, I believe that we can cast our eyes upon our community and say how good it is to have a place where our people gather, how good it is to have a place where memory is preserved and the future is imagined, how good it is to have a place where we are not alone. Tonight, as Congregation Shalom enters its 75th year, Ma Tovu feels truly beshert. How good are these tents? How good is this dwelling place? How good is Congregation Shalom? But we know, of course, that a sacred home doesn't simply appear, it is built. In the early summer of 1951, a small group gathered in the basement of David and Sylvia Pash and signed a charter to create a new Reform synagogue for the growing Jewish population on Milwaukee's North Shore. They couldn't have known everything that would come from that meeting. They couldn't have imagined every child who would one day learn here or every couple who would stand beneath the chuppah. They couldn't have known every mourner who would be held here or every student who would ask a serious question. They couldn't have envisioned every song that would rise from the sanctuary, but they understood that Jewish life in this community needed a home, a place of warmth, creativity, intellectual curiosity, prayer, and relationship. Rabbi Harry Pastor of blessed memory, our founding rabbi, said in those early days, "We have come to build, but we ourselves are being built thereby." That sentence still feels like one of the truest descriptions of Congregation Shalom. We build this place, and this place builds us. That has been true from the beginning. Shalom was created not only as an institution, but as a spiritual home. Its founders envisioned a congregation that would be a house of study, a house of prayer, and a house of gathering, a place committed to learning, creativity, originality, warmth, and personal connection. And 75 years later, we are still living inside that vision. And we are also being asked to renew it. This will be a year of celebration, and it should be. 75 years is a sacred milestone. We'll tell the stories and honor the memories. We'll celebrate the people who built this congregation and the people who continue to build it. We'll take delight in the fact that at that small gathering in a basement, we became what we are experiencing today, a congregation that has helped shape generations of Jewish life in Milwaukee. But this anniversary cannot only be about the past. Ma Tovu is not only a statement of gratitude for the tents that already exist, it's also a charge to make sure that those tents remain strong and open, beautiful, and filled with life for the generations that are still to come. That's why this year is so important. Our capital campaign is part of that sacred work. Of course, campaigns involve buildings and systems and classrooms and infrastructure and resources, but at its heart, this campaign is about continuity and making sure that the next generations inherit a congregation ready to receive them. Strengthening the spaces where children will learn, where families will gather, where people will pray, where grief will be held gently, where joy will be sanctified, and where Jewish life will continue to take root. And to our capital campaign chairs, thank you. Thank you to David and Monica Arnstein, Nancy and Jim Barnett, Adam and Amy Bazelon, Steve Wallace and Linda Benfield, and to the entire campaign committee who have devoted time, energy, and parnassah to this beautiful vision. You've taken on work that requires patience and courage, persistence and faith. You've helped us speak not only about what needs to be repaired or renewed, but about what kind of congregation we believe Shalom can be. And you've invited us to think beyond the immediate moment and to invest in a future that we too might not fully see, but for which we are responsible. That too is what our founders did. They planted for us, and now we plant for those who will come after us. Alongside the campaign, we've engaged in the work of strategic vision. This process has asked us to step back from the rush of daily congregational life, and believe me, it's a rush, and ask deeper questions. Who are we becoming? What do our people need right now? And what will sustain Jewish life in the years ahead? And I want to offer deep gratitude to Michael Gilbert and Jenny Movrich for their leadership in this work. Strategic vision requires the ability to hold both memory and imagination at the same time. And Michael and Jenny, you've helped guide us towards clarity, and you've done so with devotion to this congregation and love for its future. Can't wait to continue this planning with you. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. This year has also been a year of transition in the professional life of our congregation. We marked the conclusion of our cantorial soloist Megan Ryder Guterman's first year with us. A first year in a congregation is its own kind of wilderness. There are names to learn and rhythms to understand and traditions to absorb, relationships to build, and sacred moments that arrive whether or not one feels fully ready for them. And Megan, you've entered into this community with warmth and artistry and grace and depth. We're grateful for the spirit you've brought, for the music you've shared, and for the relationships you've begun to build. We're blessed to continue this journey with you. And just as I say to my kids each morning as I drop them off at day camp, like the Girl Scouts, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other gold. And so I want to say that I work with some amazing people that help lift me up, lift all of us up each and every day. So Camilla Edelman, Rabbi Abby, Brian Avner, Carrie Ballier, Missy Meyer, Georgie, Maddie Powell, Jacob and John, our security team, and all our amazing teachers and tutors and accompanists and volunteers. It takes so many to make this place what it is. We also experienced a significant transition as Ryan concluded his service as executive director. And Ryan, we are grateful for that leadership and the care for Congregation Shalom. The work of an executive director is often invisible when it's done well. It lives in the systems that function and the daily labor that allows sacred community to flourish. And now we also look ahead with confidence to Andrea Gatti, and as she steps into this role with thoughtfulness, skill, and deep understanding of Congregation Shalom. Andrea, we're grateful for your willingness to lead, to listen, to organize, and help strengthen the daily life of this community. The work ahead is significant, but we are surrounded by clergy and staff and lay leaders and volunteers and members who share this desire to see Shalom thrive. And I have great confidence in your leadership that you bring. You're exactly the right person for this next chapter. We also say goodbye with deep gratitude to Laurel Rose, who has served this congregation for more than a decade as bookkeeper. So much of her work has happened quietly, but quiet work often makes sacred life possible. For her dedication and her steadiness and many years of service, we are deeply grateful. And I want to thank our entire leadership, particularly Larry Gollable, for his continued service as president of the congregation. Larry, synagogue leadership is not just a title, and you know this. It's a partnership. And I'm fortunate, we are also fortunate to have you leading our community. Your steadiness, your humility, and your love for this place and the people within it is truly remarkable. I'm grateful for your partnership, your wisdom, and your continued commitment to Congregation Shalom. So Ma Tovu, how good. Balaam's blessing was not spoken because the Israelites were perfect. They were not. They had complained. They had stumbled. They doubted. They had known conflict and they knew fear. But when Balaam saw them from the mountaintop, he saw something that was beautiful. He saw people dedicated to sacred purpose. That's what I see when I look at Congregation Shalom. I see a child beginning to discover the sounds of Hebrew. I see a teenager asking a question brave enough to make the adults in the room pause. It happens often. I see a family finding welcome. I see a mourner being held without needing to explain the depths of their grief. I see music lifting us beyond ourselves. I see teachers opening doors. I see volunteers arriving early and staying late. I see elders carrying memory. I see new members helping us imagine what Shalom can become. Most of all, I see a congregation that is still being built. That's our inheritance, and that's our responsibility. Our founders built for us. Rabbi Pastor and the early members of Shalom built for us. Rabbi Shapiro and Cantor Berman and generations of leaders, clergy, staff, teachers, volunteers, and families built for us. And now, in our 75th year, we're called to continue building because Jewish life has always depended on people willing to build sacred homes in uncertain times. When future generations tell the story of Congregation Shalom, they'll speak of 1951. They'll speak of the founders and their courage. They'll speak of the leaders who shaped this congregation across the decades, and they may also speak of this moment when Shalom turned 75 and chose not only to remember, but to renew. May they say that we strengthened the tents. May they say that we opened the doors wider. And may they say that we honored the past by preparing for the future. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. Erev Tov, everyone.
Before we move to our closing benediction and presumptive adjournment, I will ask if there's any new business or questions or issues that anyone wants to raise. If not, we'll move to our closing benediction. Move this way.
Eternal God, we seek to do your holy work for our space and our community. As we bring this gathering to a close, let us breathe in the blessings of this moment. As we enter into the 75th year of this congregation, let us look around with appreciation for the vibrant community we are today. I would like to offer up some music and the words of Psalm 100. Hariu Adonai ko haaretz, ivdu ed Adonai besimcha, bo lefanav birnana, de'u ki Adonai hu Elohim. Hu asanu v'hu lo anagnu, amo v'tson marito. Bo sha'ara b'toda, chatzerota b'tehila. Hodu lo baruch hu shemo, ki tov Adonai le'olam. Chasto ve'ador v'ador emunato.
Thank you, Megan, for that beautiful rendering, as always. If there are no further questions, we'll take a move to adjourn the meeting. Thanks, Liz. Do we have a second? Thank you, Linda. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor of adjournment? Any opposed? Great. The annual meeting is concluded. We have an oneg in Clearfield Hall. Please join us, everyone. Keep at it.